Hey everyone, I'm just going to get you going with a tutorial for this week since I've missed a week or a couple of weeks with you guys. I want to get you started. Want to get you using this particular software. I know you've been looking through the videos that I've been posting online, and hopefully you've looked through those kind of sets of tutorials. I think there's about 4 or 5 videos in each one, and this is basically kicking on from that by doing, I suppose, something with a few drawings, setting up a classification system and doing some takeoff. So the first thing you need to do is you'll need to go onto your Brightspace module for me. It's the common one between myself and Fiacre. Click Dermot Kehelly. You'll see that there are the videos that I've uploaded, or sorry, at least I've linked from the Autodesk website to your page here. And then down here we've got tutorial 2, Autodesk House 2D. This is what we're essentially going to start today. So you can download those 2 things if you haven't done so already. You can either click on the actual drawing itself, which is the first item, or you can click the little arrow here and click download. So the next item then is a classification system. Essentially it's an Excel spreadsheet, same thing. Drop down, click download. Now download it to somewhere obviously that you remember on your computer. Put it in your C drive somewhere, your documents folder, or put it in your folder called Measurement Costing 2 that you probably use for your class. So that's the first thing you need to do. The next thing you need to do is to log on to https // and I've said this in class, acc.autodesk.com. So I think pretty much if you actually put that in, acc.autodesk.com, and click return, you'll be brought to this Autodesk Construction Cloud homepage. Now essentially the homepage is a project list. Now there's no way as I move along here, at least I'm not aware of, a home tab that you can select if you navigate away from this page to come back to it, come back to your project list. There probably is a project list somewhere, it's just that I can't remember exactly where it is. So just make a note that once you type that back in there, acc.autodesk.com. Bookmark it of course as well, it's quite handy, or maybe create a shortcut for that actual page on your desktop so that when you double click onto it, you should come straight in. Now, the first time you will log on to that, you'll have to log on via your username and password. Now, your username and password is automatically the username and password you use for your email in college. It'll be whatever your C1715, whatever it is, at myTU Dublin, or whatever it is now, in terms of an email address and the password you use to log on to your email. So once you log on to that, you'll be brought to this homepage. Now, the next thing you need to do is set up a project. Now, you may have set one up already with me in class. For those of you who were in the class, a couple of weeks ago when we went through this, I essentially asked for your email address and I added you as a user of Autodesk Takeoff. Now, if you didn't and you weren't in the class, you won't be able to set up a project that has Takeoff, that has Autodesk Takeoff, or at least the software within the project. You may be able to set up a project, but you won't be able to actually do any takeoff. So you'll need to email me. You'll need to basically be able to give me your email address, which I'll probably get obviously when you email me, and I'll add that as a user to the system. I go in here essentially to my Autodesk account. I go into Autodesk Takeoff and I assign a new user or unassign an existing user, and I've got a number of seats, essentially software products that I can assign, and I've got a load of them left, so by all means send me your email if you haven't set up already, and I can do that. Okay, so I'm going to create a project now. I've done it before with you guys. I'm going to just do it again. You guys don't need to do it obviously if you've done it before, but for those doing it for the first time, you'll click create project. I might call it measurement, or even something like MC2, measurement costing 2, semester 1 tutorial. Now we may call it something else. I don't need a project number, I won't bother putting that in. It's in my Dermot's TU Dublin account. Yours obviously will be your account that you'll have to drop down. Project type, let's say, doesn't really matter, but let's look for residential, recreational, religious, domestic, single family housing. Let's put that in. I don't need a template. I'm not going to work a template, and you'll see down here USD, maybe euro. Is euro in there? Scroll down. not US dollars, although it doesn't really matter. Euro. There, I'll just click Euro. Okay. Project value doesn't matter. Create project. Just give it a second. It's internet based. It's not going to be as quick as if it's housed on your desktop, but it works, which is great. And it means that we don't have to have a powerful machine to work with our products. We just have to have a good internet connection. Now what happens is once I open the project, I'm defaulted into the members tab. Okay. Now what I need to do is need to scroll down here on the right hand side. Now if you're not in this members tab, you can get it by drop down at the top here and click on project admin. Now it's the only thing I'm going to be in because I haven't given myself access to the one member that I am to a role. Okay, so this case I'm going to be Dermot's TU Dublin. I can give myself a role, doesn't really matter actually if I do or not. And let's call myself an estimator. And then come down here and below the line here in assign products and permissions, I want to click Takeoff on, and I might click well actually as it happens, once I click Takeoff in, Takeoff on, Docs and Insight also get put on. Okay, now if that Takeoff for some reason won't click for you, it means that you're not assigned the product. It means that you aren't in that particular day. I assigned the products, which means that I need to email you, or you need to email me, and I need to give you access to that. Okay, so that's what that means. So you'll get this far, but you won't get any further in relation to that. Now, hopefully at this stage, you'll be able to come back up here at the project admin, drop down and you'll see Takeoff. If you don't, you might have to click the little refresh button here. On the refresh page, once I drop down, I see Takeoff. So that's the first step. The first step essentially is to set up a project if you haven't done so already, which I think most of you have done. If you've done that already, you just click on your project and you will default straight into this home page. Okay? So the next thing we're going to do, once I'm in, and how I know I'm in the right home page or right page for this particular project is I've got MC2 semester 1 tutorial or whatever you called it at the time you set it up. I'm in the Takeoff page. If I haven't got Takeoff there, I want to check again project admin, drop down to the very end. I want to make sure clicking on my name that the Takeoff is selected down there. If I can't select it, it means again, as I said before, that I don't have access to it. I need you to email me. And once I give you and assign you, I suppose, a place or a seat, you will be able to click that again, click Takeoff, and get back onto, I suppose, the business of utilizing this software. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is define a classification system. So that's essentially like putting in a kind of a preloaded ARM4 or National Standard Billing Elements. I'm going to keep it simple and just keep it to the National Standard Billing Elements as a kind of, I suppose, a breakdown structure. So I'm in Home here, top left-hand corner, underneath Takeoff. I'm going to select the classification system first, select that. I'm going to change from Imperial, which is obviously in the United States. I'm in Europe. I'm going to click Metric, which keeps me to meters, millimeters, centimeters. Classification system, I'm going to upload a classification system, and that is the item that you downloaded. And I'm going to import it from here. And the one I'm going to import in is wherever you saved it. It's called Classification Template National Standard Billing Elements. That is the one that you would download with Brightspace. Click Open. And you know you have it in there. If it comes up with a number on the left-hand side and a Save Custom System here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that's essentially my classification system selected. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is select Sheets and Models, and I'm going to upload some files. So we can either click on, as I said there, Sheets or Models, or we can go back to the Home tab and we can upload drawings by selecting, see the way I have a correct sign there? That means that I've already uploaded a classification system, which you did a few moments ago, and then I can click here, upload my 3D or 2D files. Now in this particular exercise, I don't have any 3D files, so I'm just uploading 2D drawings. So again, by clicking back home and clicking on that, I suppose, square, brings me back to the sheets of models. This is where I upload my 2D drawings. So let's go ahead and do that now. Click 2D files or upload files in the 2D tab. I'm going to upload, this is files within the cloud system, so I don't have any files in there at the moment, but I'm going to upload from my computer. Click that, and then I'm going to click my PDF drawings, which I downloaded from Brightspace. So again, as I said, this PDF drawing is one file with a number of pages, and each page has a number of drawings. So click open, and it's going to take possibly a little bit of time to upload. Just give it a second, although it says upload complete. And then on the right hand side here, it takes a little bit more time to, that's why I wasn't expecting that to do so quickly, but it takes a bit more time to upload a 3D file because there's a whole lot more going on there in terms of graphics. So once you see that upload complete there, you can click next to version set. This is all pretty easy. Let's call this version 1 or revision 1, whichever you want. Issuance date, let's pretend it's today. What day is today? 27th. Of course, it depends on when you're doing it. 27th of October. Next, the sheet numbers. And we can see across the top there that we're kind of moving through a number of different stages in terms of, I suppose, synthesizing our drawings. So just give it a second, it might take a bit of time. It's telling me here that I'm uploading 13 sheets. They're still extracting, that's why you'll see maybe the wheel going on around there for the moment. It's automatically taking a sheet number there, and I don't believe I have a sheet number in any of these. It's just saying page 1, page 2. So let's just give it a sheet number. It's not 7894, let's just call that 1. Now if I did have a title block, you see that circle still go around, so it's still working. Looks like it's done now. Sheet extraction completed. I don't have, let me just click on that drawing just to see. There's title block on this, and you can see that there's not. This was basically exported from a BIM model, so it doesn't have, what you'd see down here as a title block in terms of the name of the architect, etc. So if I just go back there, in fact, I should go back a couple of steps. I can't put in the actual number, and that number could be a little bit more long-winded. So I'm just going to put in number 1 there. This will be number 2, number 3, number 4, keep it nice and simple, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. See the way it wants to take something there in terms of a sheet number, and number, what was my last one? Number 8, number 9, number 10, same it's doing there, number 11, number 12, number 13. So it automatically looks for a sheet number. You kind of see it there on the right hand side as I'm hovering over there. And there is a way of kind of, I suppose, just clicking on that sheet number on the drawing, and it populates the actual sheet number here that I'm putting in. But because there is no sheet number, title block, etc. on the drawing, I've got to put these in manually. So I think everything's okay there. I've been numbered from 1 through 13. Oh, I didn't do my 13th one, so let's do that there. 1 through 13, and I'm happy to proceed. As I said, there is a kind of more automated way of doing that. If you want to see what that is or how that's done, take a look at the videos that I gave you prior to you guys doing this exercise. So next, titles and tags. So again, you might think that this is a little bit long-winded, but it kind of it sets this up nicely for me in terms of how I access my information or how I access my drawings. So I can see that that's an elevation. So let's call that the front elevation. So this is my title. Again, there is a way of doing that a little bit more automated. You'll see in the videos that I posted previously that you can kind of select the elevation name, or I suppose the name of the drawing, from the title block, which we don't have. Let's call this side elevation. Now it could be called north, south, east, west elevation, but I don't know what's north and south. That's rear elevation. That's side, let's say side 2. side 2. Now this is, let me just home in on it, I'm not 100% sure. That looks like that's my first floor elevation. So come back there, first floor, not first floor elevation of course, first floor plan. Okay. Down, that would be my ground floor plan. If I want to click on it just to make sure. Open sheet. Again, you'll notice things take a little bit longer when you're dealing with a kind of web-based application. And I can see that that is my ground floor plan. There's my kitchen. It might take a little bit of time for the graphics to actually come up. So I'll go back a step and I'll type in ground floor plan. Now, if your eyesight's a bit better than mine, you might see straight from the get-go that that's what it is. I can't tell what that is. I think it's a kind of a section through a roof. And I believe that what it is, so kind of roof section plan, let's call it that. Roof section plan. And then this one is, I suppose, an eaves elevation or eaves detail. Section. So it's fairly straightforward. I'm just kind of filling in what I think. What's that? That's the rising wall detail. I can click on it again just to see. Okay, yes, it is. I go back a step. That's rising / or dash foundation. Should be the other way around, really. Foundation rising section. Okay, and then that looks like it's a section. Let's just call it section. Elevation. And what's this? Can't really see. Let's click on it. This is, oh, that's another kind of a wall section. Let's give it that, call it that. Do I need all these? Probably not. But let's stick it in anyway. And that looks like it's a sill detail. And then down. What's that? I can't really see. I think it's the foundation plan. And it is, or what is it? Let's call it the foundation plan. Looks like it's something like that. Okay. So I've done my best there. I've got 13 drawings, although that one should be 13, not 1. Why did that happen? Anyway, I'm going to fill them out as best I can in terms of their sheet title corresponding with their sheet thumbnail, what type of drawing they are. Drop down, I've no search results here in terms of tags. Let's make them all arc, and then I can drop down, I think. Create arc, click arc, and then once I've created one, I can click them. So they're all going to be architectural drawings. Just means that if I've got structural drawings, I can do the same. So this seems a bit long-winded, but once it's set up, it's set up. And in this case, it probably is a bit more long-winded than it should do, because if I had a proper set of PDF drawings with working titles, etc., it would have a foundation plan, could be structural, would make it a little bit easier. So I'm happy enough with that. I'm on sheet numbers. I've got my thumbnail, I've got my sheet title, I've got them numerated, although I should have went down to 13. This is called 1 again. Maybe I could go back to my sheet numbers. It's telling me there's a mistake, although let's put it back to 13. There we go. Sheet next to titles and tags. I've done that. So what I did there is I saw that was number 1. It shouldn't have let me go forward anyway, without them all being different numbers, but I went back to sheet numbers. I just changed that 1, the last one, foundation plan, to 13, and then forward again. So once I'm happy with that, I think everything's good. My sheet title corresponds with obviously my sheet thumbnail or the drawing itself. I'm going to publish my sheets. So this could take a little bit of time. And my sheets are published successfully. Very straightforward little exercise that I've done in 10 minutes or so there. And you'll see now, I'll just scroll down here, I've got all my sheets. And they're pretty easy to access because they've got a number and a name. Sometimes when you upload to other applications, it's kind of hard. They give you a default name. And and it might be, depending on how it is exported, just this long-winded version of an enumerated name that's just not easy to access and to find out and figure out which is which. So once that's done, we're going to move to what is called packages. So I can either click from where I'm at now, Sheets and Models, click on Packages, and create my package. I'll explain what package is in a second. Or I can click Home, and it's the last item in terms of setting up a project that I need to click here. So I either create packages there on the left hand side, or I create Takeoff packages here. So what are packages? Well, this is slightly different than what other applications do. These are kind of groupings of dimensions. Now remember, this is a Takeoff tool. It's not a bill of quantities tool, so it's just taking off dimensions. I'll name the dimensions of what I want to take off, but how I use them in a cost plan or how I use them in the bill of quantities is not the same. Now I can create maybe kind of bill of quantities items, but they're not fully fledged BOQ descriptions. So this is a Takeoff tool rather than what Cupid might be, which is a fully integrated kind of Takeoff and costing tool. The same with other products such as Costex and CAD Measure, etc. So I'm going to click Create Package here. So as I said, I can do it in Packages or I can do it in the Home. And I'm going to name it, let's just name it Architecture. So Arc, again, this is different than the tag and the drawings. In fact, let's just call it Architecture, okay? And create that package, simple. And that goes in there. So what I need to do now, I'll click the Architecture package. Okay, and I can go ahead and select a model to get started. So let's start with maybe the plan once I've clicked on the package. What am I going to use? Ground. I suppose it's going through. Is it going through? Yeah, alphabetical order here. So what I might do is I might actually bookmark that. That's gone to the very top because I know my ground floor plan is certainly something I'll be using time and time again. And I also might bookmark my first floor plan. There we go. Click the little plus there. So those two gone up to the front. So I'm going to click my ground floor plan. It'll take a little bit of time on the right hand side for that to load. And you can see it there. It's loaded. So I'm going to pull this across here. This little arrow that comes up as I hover over two panes to give a little bit more, I suppose, detail or information on my drawing. So there it is, my ground floor plan. And I might do a little bit of Takeoff. Now the first thing I need to do, we've done this with other products, previous tutorials, is to scale it. So not to scale, I've got Calibrate and I got a quick measure. So if I did a quick measure here, sort of similar to what you did with Costex, click that, home in on one side of a dimension, click and pull it across, and I can see that that's nowhere way off. So the scale is not scaled. Click Escape. So I can either click not scaled yet there, or I can click Calibrate. Okay. So select 2 points. Let's do that. Starting with maybe the one I just selected. Hover over, try and get right on that particular point. Come back across and then select the other side. And I think I'm nearly there. 1510. 1510. Then type millimeters and then I calibrate. So that calibration is done, and you can see it's 1:97. So now it could be, or probably should be, 1:100, but I'm not going to go 1:100 because it's not bang on. Now I could maybe readjust that, click it to 1:100 if I think that that's exactly what it is. If it comes out at 1:99 point something something something, but I'm happy enough with my calibration. Let me do a quick measure on another dimension. Make sure I'm thereabouts. Pull it across, and that says 2962. So thereabouts. In fact, let me actually change it to 1:100 and see. Is it actually a better measurement? Maybe it's something to do with the way I actually quick measure, the way I clicked. Pull it across. No. So I might calibrate that again. $2.65. Calibrate. So we'll leave the calibration. It is 1:97 rather than 1:100. I did 2 calibrations there. I did a calibration on this one, and I did a calibration on that one. So, so I'm happy enough with that. Now, as I said, it should be, you might think that it should be 1:100. That's the way it should have exported out, but it doesn't always work out that way. So you calibrate first. You would know if it was 1:100 if your calibration came up at 1:99.9 something. Then it's just that how you clicked. But I'm a little bit off, so I can imagine that it just wasn't exported as a 1:100 drawing. So I'm calibrating it now, and that should be happy enough with that. Okay, so let me do a quick measurement on this, and we can get started just to kind of give you an idea of what you need to do. Let's just maybe take off the ground floor area. Okay, so going from sheets of models here to takeoff types. So I'm going to click takeoff types. I'm going to click plus button here to create a takeoff. I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it ground. Now this isn't gross floor area. I'm not going to add my ground floor to my first floor and whatever other floors I have. This is just to measure my, well, could be my concrete, could be my insulation, could be my hardcore. So ground floor area. What tool am I going to take off with? Am I going to measure it as an area? Am I going to measure it as a length, a count, or this is BIM? So certainly not BIM because it's not a BIM file. Area, it's not a length I'm looking for, it's an area, so I'm going to click that. Classification, I'm going to put it in drop down substructure, kind of below ground floor level, or anything below ground floor level, including the floor, is in the substructure. So let's drop that down to 1.9. Well, actually should be 19, but because you can't put 19, or at least the sequence doesn't kind of fit with the way the Autodesk Takeoff wants, I can't have 21, 22, so I've just kind of divided them a little bit different there. So don't worry too much about that. That's element 19, or it's coming up as 1.9 substructure down there. Down here, I want it to be displaying in meters as an output in meters. And further down at the secondary output, which I can basically add, that will maybe give me a secondary quantity, but I'm not doing that. So for the moment, all I'm doing is something simple. It's just my ground floor area. I could give it a description, more detailed description. Could be maybe something like ground floor, including concrete, reinforcement or mesh, insulation, do something shorthand, insulation, blinding, hardcore, something like that. Now it mightn't be all encompassing, but for the moment it's okay. So I'm happy enough with that. Ground floor area, I can change the color if I want by clicking the actual color. And that's fine for the moment. A little bit of a description, which doesn't really need to go in. And I'm going to start takeoff. Okay, so now I can go ahead and I'm going to click on the inside face. There's kind of a double line here, but that's just plaster skim. So go to the inside face of one of the corners. So the second line in, click. And as I said before, you can zoom out and zoom in as you need to go around the drawing. Going to do one takeoff to kind of get you started. Click. You can see that that's starting to form what is, I suppose, a rectangle of sorts till you go around your drawing. A little bit different than other products you might have used. I'm going to work my way around from corner to corner. Fairly simple. It's only a house, but it's not only a house, but it's a little bit easier. There's less corners to click on. Inside corner again. Where would I be? Oops, maybe there. Then I am coming to the next corner, and then once I'm happy with that, click enter, and I have my quantity of 6802. So that's just very straightforward. It wasn't really necessarily wanted to get into dimensions. We'll do a good bit more on that in the coming tutorials. I really wanted to just kind of get you set up with a project, so the next time you come in and see me face to face, you've actually maybe set up a package, added drawings, and actually done maybe one little bit of a takeoff. You can play around with this. It's fairly straightforward to create more takeoffs within this drawing. You just click the plus here, you fill it in. It could be that you're maybe doing internal walls. might be, in this case, it might be a line. It could be in superstructure, just playing around with this. It could be meters. Now I could assign it, I could do it in meters squared. And if I scroll down here, I would give it a secondary height of, let's say, 2.5. I don't know what it is, but start the takeoff. And then I want to maybe turn off the little takeoff there so we can see this, and then I might start taking off my ground floor. Okay, and that would be one line. So play around with that. There's no rhyme or reason exactly what's correct and what's not correct just for the moment in terms of how we get. Now see the way I've got a second line there, when I click enter and it goes away. Or else I can make two lines connected. So that's that. And see how you get on.